Hey, what's cracking, y'all? This is Darren McDuffie, aka the Phat-Man, assisting you in becoming perfectly healthy and toned. And I'm a little bit sad today. I was just watching on TV the NewTown Connecticut shootings, the mass shootings at the school where they had, I guess, the young kids that got shot. But I wanted to take this time to just film a video and just throw some things out there to get you to kind of think about what's going on with society today. I'm under the impression myself that people don't just go crazy. I think that the majority of us respect human life until something happens or we're under the influence. And one of the things that I learned a while back was that the common element in a lot of these mass shootings has been antipsychotic drugs. And if you look at where we are right now, there's more increasing young adults and kids that are being diagnosed with depression and anxiety. And when the kids are under that influence, parents want to help, and the thing that happens is they take their kids to doctor or psychologist and they prescribe these antipsychotic drugs, Paxil, Zoloft, Prozac, Risperdal, all these drugs that are out there, SSRIs, antidepressant. So if I look back on a reflection of where I was a couple of years ago as a pharmaceutical representative for a major drug company, I can tell you the emphasis is about profit. The emphasis isn't about really helping people. It's about maximizing profit. And just from where I am right now, I understand the relationship that exists between the pharmaceutical companies, the FDA, and that relationship is such that even if they know through research that problems exist with some of these drugs, they're not going to pull them off the shelf, because basically they're all in bed together. And again, a common element with all of these killings, and you probably won't hear about it on your local news, has been antipsychotic drugs. Now, I don't know what happened in the recent shootings, the NewTown Connecticut shootings. What I've been watching on TV seems to point to this young man being on these types of drugs. And I know there was a shooting, I believe, earlier in the week in Oregon where some guy goes in and he, shot two people inside of an Oregon mall. So I suspect that it's the same thing, because what you're seeing is a lot of our young adults, a lot of our young kids have so much anxiety and depression within them. And I won't get into why I actually think that this is going on, but I do have a theory that ultimately it can lead back to these types of drugs that they are on. But you're not going to get the real truth behind a lot of things. A lot of what you're going to see on TV is going to be sensationalized, because TV, they're in the business to make news, and they're going to sensationalize everything. If you look at the different channels, some are going to say 30 people were killed, some are going to say 35 people were killed, and some of them are going to say 40 people were killed. I was just watching the recent news, and they were saying that they heard 100 rounds of gunfire when they're saying that the guy had a Glock and a 9mm, which I believe is a couple of shots, not 100. You actually have to have a machine gun for that. So I want you to really tune in on how the news sensationalizes things and how they cover up things, and they really make us see what we're only supposed to see. And one thing I really think that we have to do as a society is start holding pharmaceutical companies responsible for these drugs. These SSRI drugs, they've done a lot of research on them, and they've found that these drugs make certain people delusional. And they're still on the market. They're still allowed to be prescribed, and there's no good that's coming out of them, because it's putting our society at risk. But yet, everybody allows it to go on. And people sit out here and they say, okay, I'm sad by this, this should happen in our society, but no one goes back and thinks about how it's actually happening. And if you look at the thing fell for no reason, but if you look at the killings that happened earlier with James Holmes, I believe I did a video on that earlier in the year. he was under some type of drugs, and you could actually see it when they, got the guy into the court. It looks like he was coming off of something. And all the killings that have gone on, or the wounding of people with all of these younger kids, most of them have been on the antipsychotic drugs. So there's a link. Like I said, I don't know what happened in NewTown, Connecticut, but I'm under the impression that this guy was also on antipsychotic drugs. And the bad thing about this is that I think that we're going to start seeing more of this, because we live in a society today where there's a pill for every ill. When someone has something and they're depressed or has some anxiety, they go to the doctor prescribes something, and that's the way that we live. Instead of trying to correct the problem by a more holistic means and using natural things, we tend to gravitate towards these pharmaceutical drugs. So it's my again, I'm under the impression that I just think that we will continue to see more of this, and it will continue to be more frequent until there's someone, or there's people that start to stand up and educate themselves towards this. And before I get out of this video, I wanted to just stress one more point to you. I just read a blog post just this morning. A friend of mine sent it over to me. And on that blog post, it was telling about the difference between rich people and average people, those average Joes. And one of the things that really stuck with me out of that blog post was the fact that they were saying that rich people educate themselves. They're more interested in educating themselves. You walk into someone who's well-to-do, the chances are they're going to have a lot of books. They're more interested in really finding out what makes them tick, finding out how they can be a better person, whereas the average person is more interested in being entertained. And I find that that is very, very true in our society. If you look at something like YouTube, you have people, I've done a number of videos educating people about their thyroid, educating people about water, educating people about the importance of cooking food. And I do this because I'm passionate about it and I really want to help people. But the thing that frustrates me is that sometimes I only get 30 views on a video or 40 views on a video of something that I think is really important that will help people move forward with their health and living a more, having more longevity out of their life. Now, when you look at other things and you look at, somebody falls down on YouTube, you get 1 million views. And that goes back exactly to what I'm saying, is the fact that we are not educating ourselves enough as to what is going on in our society. And there are forces out there that care about profits. They don't really care about people. And what you're seeing is a manifestation of that, but yet no one is questioning what's going on in our society and what is it stemming back to. So just think about that. And again, my heart goes out to the NewTown, Connecticut families that had to endure this. But one thing I want to do is just take this opportunity to really get people to start thinking, thinking more globally instead of just thinking locally. Because what affects one person ultimately affects us all. We may think that we're not there, but at some point we are actually feeling the ripples that are coming back to us. And it may be a matter of time before someone walks into where you are, into your local vicinity, and something like this happens. So you really have to educate yourself and really have to think. A lot of people aren't thinking. So this has been Darren McDuffie, aka the Phat-Man, assisting you in becoming healthy and toned. And leave me some comments on this video. Let me know what you think about the shootings, and what do you think it is. I'm very interested in hearing what some of your theories are behind this. All right, talk to you later.